Hi, and thank you for joining us to the first of 5 sessions on the California Common Core Standards at Santee School District. This is the overview. Our objectives are for you to learn about why and how the Common Core State Standards were created, Santee School District's transition to the Common Core, the instructional shifts and assessment implications of the Common Core State Standards. We're going to start out by watching this 3-minute sketch video that will tell us a bit more about the Common Core State Standards and why they are needed.
Like it or not, life is full of measuring sticks. How smart we are, how fast we are, how well we can, compete. But up until now, it's been pretty hard to tell how well kids are competing in school and how well they're going to do when they get out of school. We like to think that our education system does that, but when it comes to learning what they really need to be successful after graduation, is a girl in your neighborhood being taught as much as her friend over in the next one? Is a graduating senior in, say, St. Louis as prepared to get a job as the graduate in Shanghai? Well, it turns out the answer to both of these questions is no. Because for years, states have been setting different standards for what students should know and be able to do at each grade level. That's making it too hard to know if our kids are really doing well enough overall, and if they can really compete for a job someday. What we really need are clear goals. That's where the Common Core State Standards come in. They're like a total sea change in education. Consistent, strong, clear benchmarks for English language arts and math. Here's how it works. You can think of kindergarten through 12th grade like a giant staircase. Each step is a skill your child needs to learn before stepping up to the next one. But right now, too many kids aren't really confident with like 2 plus 2 before they have to move on to 2 times 2. We need more focus on the skills that help them move up the stairs, or they can slip up and fall behind. And there's another problem. What if everyone's stairs were made at different heights? Well, here we go again. They are. So, a boy in Seattle who's rocking an A in English literature could be getting a C on his Chicago friend's staircase. Oops. We need to create consistent steps in education too. So first, each standard creates a landing on the staircase, a stop along the way as your child heads toward high school graduation. Each stop is a chance for every parent and teacher to focus on the skills their students are supposed to know at that step, no matter the zip code, language, or race. And more importantly, each standard makes sure all students are learning what they need to know to get to graduation and beyond. Because something like counting to 100 leads to understanding dollars and cents, which eventually leads to understanding how to manage a budget. Secondly, the standards are consistent from school to school, and they match up against international standards too. Now we know how we're doing compared to just about everyone. So even though local communities will still design their own curriculum with the same rules, everybody can compete on the same kind of staircase. But standards aren't learning. That's why we need teachers, parents, and students to help make that happen. By working together to help kids meet these standards. The world's getting more and more competitive every day. But now, when our kids get to the top of their staircase, they can have way more options on where their life goes from there. Clear goals, confident, well-prepared students. That's the Common Core State Standards.
The Common Core State Standards was a joint effort between the National Governors Association Center for Best Practices and the Council of Chief State School Officers. The National Governors Association Center for Best Practices provides information, research, policy analysis, and resource development for governors and their staff in the areas of early childhood, K-12, and post-secondary education. The Council of Chief State School Officers is a nonprofit organization of public officials who head departments of elementary and secondary education in the states. The CCSSO provides leadership, advocacy, and assistance on major educational issues. California initially adopted the Common Core State Standards in August of 2010, and in January of 2013, California made a revision of the mathematics standards in 8th grade. The process followed in the development of the Common Core State Standards was rigorous and informed by the very best state standards, as well as the experience of teachers, content experts, states, and leading thinkers. In addition, feedback was given from the general public. The draft of the College and Career Ready Standards was released for public comment in September of 2009, and the draft of K-12 standards was also released in March of 2010. Nearly 10,000 people provided feedback on the draft standards. 48% of those were from K-12 teachers, 20% from parents, 6% from school administrators, 5% from post-secondary faculty or researchers, 2% from students, and 2% from others. In the 2012-13 school year, Santee School District started our transition to the Common Core state standards. Staff started to receive training from prominent researchers and literacy consultants, Nancy Fry and Doug Fisher. We have begun to look closely at the texts we are using in order to achieve a balance between fiction and nonfiction, and selecting our texts by considering their text complexity. In other words, selecting text based on consideration of its vocabulary, sentence structure, organization, and the reader's prior knowledge about the subject. This training will continue throughout the 2013-14 school year. This year, we will also be engaged in studies around writing and meeting these writing goals. As with reading, you can see that there is a shift from narrative writing, or telling a story, to expository writing, which is fact-based. In mathematics, our transition will include studying and using the 8 mathematical practices throughout our instructional time. This will mean developing not just the knowledge and skills of mathematics, but how students use their knowledge and skills. Basically, it's developing a way of thinking like a mathematician. You will go into much more depth on these practices during the mathematics workshop. Our transition to the Common Core standards will naturally include aspects of 21st century learning, given the development of a global economy. This first graphic is the Framework for 21st Century Learning, created by the Partnership for 21st Century Learning, or P21. This framework describes the skills, knowledge, and expertise students must master to succeed in work and life in today's global economy. Every 21st century skills implementation requires the development of core academic subject knowledge and understanding among all students. However, students must also learn the essential skills for success in today's world, such as critical thinking, problem solving, communication, and collaboration. The Common Core standards understand this need. Therefore, these skills are integrated within the standards. The California Department of Education has also joined the National Network of the Partnership for 21st Century Skills. The second graphic represents the work that the San Diego County Office of Education has developed as part of their Career and College Readiness Initiative. As you can see, the 21st century skills are very much integrated within standards-based instruction. Professional development in the Common Core state standards for teachers and administrators will occur in a variety of ways. For example, in the 2013-14 school year, staff are given 2 district-wide release days. Staff is also engaged in professional reading and are offered opportunities for release time in order to visit other classrooms or to plan with each other. Additionally, coaching opportunities are also provided. Parent education on the Common Core standards is also being offered in many different ways. For example, through your PTA or school newsletters, at monthly school site council meetings, or the district advisory committee. The District English Learner Advisory Committee also meets on a monthly basis. And you can always visit our website at www.santsd.net, where you can find many resources under the parent link. And finally, there is the series of workshops such as the one you are viewing now. The Common Core standards will require major instructional shifts. Let's look at those in language arts. First, the standards call for students to read as much nonfiction as fiction. This is especially true at the elementary level, where fiction has traditionally been emphasized. Second, students will learn more about the world through reading. This means that students will be reading across all of the disciplines such as science, social studies, and math in order to build their knowledge about these subjects. Reading will not only be reserved for English class. Students will read more challenging material. This refers to the complexity of the text that your children will be reading. This does not necessarily mean just giving them harder text, although you may notice your children reading more challenging material. Instead, it means taking into consideration the many parts within a book that make it complex. Students will be taught and expected to engage in great discussions while giving evidence from their readings to support their arguments or judgments, instead of just relying on background knowledge, guessing, or incorrect interpretations. Students will write about texts using evidence. This means that writing will emphasize the use of evidence from good sources. This is similar to shift number 4, but in writing. And finally, students will be expected to increase their academic vocabulary so that they can move between the content areas easily. The major instructional shifts in mathematics include learning more about less. Students will learn more about fewer but key topics. Students will build skills across grade levels. This means that their skills will be building within and across the grades so that they are always ready for the next level. Students will be expected to develop speed and accuracy with simple calculations. They will also learn to think fast and solve problems. This means that they will really know the math and how to do it before moving on to the next concept. They will learn more than just a trick to get the right answer. They will understand why and how they got the answer. Students will be expected to use math and apply math in real-world situations. They will know which math to use for which situation. And finally, students will be practicing and understanding instead of only being engaged in endless practice worksheets. The new standards will bring with them new Common Core assessments. The Smarter Balanced Assessment Consortium, or Smarter Balanced, is a state-led consortium working to develop next-generation assessments that will accurately measure student progress toward college and career readiness. Smarter Balanced is one of 2 multi-state consortia awarded funding from the U.S. Department of Education in 2010 to develop an assessment system aligned to the Common Core state standards by the 2014-15 school year. The other consortia is called PARC. Currently, 29 states have committed to using the Smarter Balanced Assessment System. The other states will be using the PARC assessment. What will happen to the CSTs? Those will no longer be administered as of the 2013-14 school year. Instead, this year, California students will be piloting the new Smarter Balanced Assessment. How will the Smarter Balanced Assessment be different from the CST? Smarter Balanced is guided by the belief that a balanced, high-quality assessment system can improve teaching and learning by providing information and tools for teachers and schools to help students succeed. Computer adaptive testing will adjust to a student's ability by basing the difficulty of future questions on previous answers. This will provide more accurate measurement of student results. Additionally, it is more precise and efficient than traditional testing. Teachers, principals, and parents will receive results from computerized assessments in weeks instead of months. The question types in this assessment will also be different. Multiple choice problems will still be a part of the assessment. However, this new assessment will go beyond multiple choice questions. For example, constructed response items will require a short written response. Extended responses will require a longer written response. Performance tasks will challenge students to apply their knowledge and skills to respond to real-world problems. These can best be described as collections of questions and activities that are coherently connected to a single theme or scenario. These activities are meant to measure capacities such as depth of understanding, research skills, and complex analysis, which cannot be adequately assessed with just multiple choice or constructed response items. The assessment will have technology-enhanced items that will require specialized interactions for response. For example, the question may require students to drag and drop items into categories, or they may have to rearrange the order of words so that a sentence makes sense. In mathematics, students may have to place points on a graph or draw an angle. Technology-enhanced items may also include digital media in the question. For example, sound, video, or interactive widgets. And finally, technology-enabled items will use digital media in the prompt. For example, students may have to watch a video or listen to a podcast. Answers for these types of items can be multiple choice or written. This concludes this presentation, but there are 4 more presentations that will contain much more detailed information about English Language Arts, mathematics, the Smarter Balanced Assessment, and the integration of technology required by the Common Core standards. You can find these presentations on our district website by going to the link titled Introduction to the Common Core State Standards, and then clicking on the Especially for Parents link. Thank you very much for joining us.